What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosley, and that's the one and only Scott Savage. Scott, what's going on today? Thanks for copying me, man. I'm ready to go.
That usually makes for a good show. I'm trying to think of what do I want to play after this. Do I go back and Overwatch 2?
Okay, so last night, we talked about it the other day, Battlefield 2042. I jumped in last night. We couldn't get into Hazard Zone. Last night, I got into Hazard Zone. I'm like, yo, I jumped in early, like within 9 seconds. Boom, I'm in a game. I'm like, sweet.
Oh, okay.
Here's the problem. I was the only one on my team. I was like, what is going on? And then I got 2 kills, and then I got third party by another team. I was like, this is over. And I bounced out.
It's the way she goes.
Yeah, and then I jumped out of that, jumped into Call of Duty, played the third person multiplayer. Dude, I had fun doing that. That was cool. I like the third person. I'm much more of a third person player. So for me, I had a good time last night.
Only very little experience with the third person, but that was cool.
Yeah, I had fun. I enjoyed that. And now I'm on to a ton of reviews. Reviews are not slowing down for us right now, Scott.
The fun don't stop.
No, we got some city builders in the works right now, which I'm excited for, and that's as far as I'll take that. So, but what we're going to take is what everybody can join us live every day, Monday to Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern over on twitch.tv/the official ITG, as well as YouTube at ITG. But if you can't join us live, you can join us later. InsideTheGame.ca, podcast services, TV streaming networks around the globe. Scott, today's show. Take-Two CEO explains why GTA 6 is taking so long as fans look for the next title in the series. The latest Fable title will bring the series forward for today's sensibilities, and Control 2 is Remedy's biggest title yet. Lots to talk about. Yeah, I knew that one would probably pique your interest a little bit.
Yet to come.
Yeah, yet to come. But yeah, we'll get into that one. Scott, what I want to get into right now, though, is over on comicbook.com. Thanks to Mark. It is Take-Two CEO reveals why GTA 6 is taking so long.
Well, it's kind of a small game, you know. It takes a little while.
Isn't it like an indie title? Just a couple hours long, isn't it? Like, what's going on here? Hard as it is to believe, sometimes GTA 5 released more than 9 years ago. It is not hard to believe at this point, Scott.
No, I remember. I think that I lived in 3 different houses since then. Playing the same game.
Playing the exact same game. A little up-res. That's it. While the game has seen updates and re-releases, none of them have filled the role of the new Grand Theft Auto game. There have been some signs that development on GTA 6 is going well, but fans will be kept waiting for a while longer. During a recent call with investors, Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick discussed the company's lowest sales for the fiscal year and addressed the importance of waiting for release games until the quality is where it needs to be. Quote, yeah. I can
agree with that.
If you have to choose, I'd much rather have the situation we're in, which is we've had some delays and we've had to revise down guidance, which is an interesting term there, Scott said during the call. I'll choose that any day over taking some flops. That's really the key in this business. We've had issues, noteworthy issues, Scott, I would say, with
security issues.
Well, there's that, and the GTA trilogy is another issue, right? That's yep.
I have to say though, I did buy it. I've played 3, not Vice City yet, and it works pretty well, just as well as I remember.
Yeah, so it's one of those things, but he wants to just wait until the game is ready. That's the biggest thing, and who knows when that's going to be. We are still talking about speculations and rumors. Dude, that's 2-3 years out, but it sounds like they've had to kind of go back to the drawing board a little bit here with GTA 6. I'd love to get some kind of like insider knowledge of what happened here and what's going on and what is the holdup, because it has been over 9 years, Scott, of GTA 5.
Well, at what point was the seed for GTA 6 started? It's quite a road to release here. I'm very curious to see. Because surely it hasn't been 7-8 years of constant attention. There's no way.
Not at all. While Zelnick did not directly mention GTA 6, it's pretty clear that he's referring to. Fans have been getting very impatient waiting for the game's release, but none of them will be happy if the game were to ship with an unfinished state. We've seen so many games released that way, and it's just annoying to see it, Scott. When you don't need to rush GTA 6 in the slightest, right? I think that's the biggest thing for me. I will take GTA 6 when it's ready, and then that way it's polished, it's hopefully not bugged with releases, and we get in there on day one. Do you think though we get, because we've seen this a lot lately, is you get a portion of the game, and then you get another portion of the game, and then you get another portion of the game at a later release. But do you think they're going to chunk it out, or are we going to get like one package? Because it was a month later, GTA 5 launched, and then a month later came out the online component for it, which
attempted to launch.
Well,
no.
yeah, right?
I think it took almost a year or more for that to actually work as intended. But I wonder if we'll see the online separated. I think when it comes to the main line game, we'll get it'll all be in one disc, but we know that's not one disc.
No, for sure.
Because there's no file size difference, I think it would make sense to drop it all together. I fear the games of service model happening to GTA.
Yep.
They've proven that they can drop significant content over the years, but I want that big load up. I want to lock away in my room for several days and crush the entire game, not have to wait a couple months.
Oh man, do you think GTA 6 online will go free to play?
I think it might. It's not impossible. At first I thought, no, there's no way, they'll paywall it somehow. But at the same time, they just want to put you in front of the storefront. They can do that with a free download.
Yeah, but okay, we take a look.
You're grinding for shark cards and whatever. That's where the money's gonna come from.
No, that's where a ton of their money comes from, right? The other side of it, though, is when we bought GTA 5 remastered on Xbox Series X and S and the PS5, they gave you 3 options: 1, the complete package; 2, the base game; and 3, the online component. So now I'm curious to see if they're going to keep that model moving forward, because they know everybody will pay for it. Dude, people are going to buy it.
I believe Red Dead 2 does that as well.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't know if we'll get free to play.
In the face of that, I think we'll have definitely an online will be split off. But will it be free? Will it be small? I don't think it would be a small charge, but
no, they'll probably charge us. If you had to guess, Canadian dollar wise, what would they charge just for the online component right at launch? Brand new, right?
I think probably 50.
Oh man, that
the full game reaching 80 plus.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like
of
the full
course.
package. I mean.
Yeah. Full package, I can get $80, $90. I can get behind that, and we'll be there for years. I'm not too concerned about that. But if they separate it
over the course of the next 3 console generations.
Well, if they separate it, will they get like the Call of Duty sequence, right? Because how many people, like my kid included, just go straight to the multiplayer and skips the campaign, which this year has a fantastic campaign. But again, more Call of Duty. So it's you can check out our full review over on our website as well as our YouTube channel. But it's one of those things. A lot of people just skip the campaign altogether and go right to the multiplayer. So they're going to hold back the online component for GTA 6 and give us the story campaign. Everybody can get into that, get hyped, get pumped up, and then they start trickling out little bits of info for the online component, and then drop that, I don't know, a month later or so, or 6 months later.
Considering the timeline with GTA 5, I think that is very likely. We'll get the main game up front, I think, first.
Yeah. Well, Scott, you know what other game we're not getting for a while? It's Fable. Xbox. I'm sorry to bring the bad news, man. This comes from Ryan Pearson over at Bounding into Comics. Weird. That's an interesting URL, but go check that out. .com. Head of Xbox Studios, Matt Booty, has stated the Fable reboot will be brought forward for today's sensibilities and be a modern take. Quote, Playground Games makes racing games.
So it will have cars after all.
But if we deconstruct that a little bit, I think the thing that Playground does is high craft, high quality, high attention to detail. And so I'll separate that out as a starting ingredient, Booty explained. He then revealed they had a particular passion for the IP, and I think they also demonstrated that they understand what the heart and soul of Fable is all about and how they can bring it forward for today's sensibilities and just, make a modern take on Fable. There's stuff I wish I could share and show because some of the things that I've seen are just encouraging, Booty says. Your point is really spot on. There's a danger sometimes you don't want to give, the RPG team to go make a racing game or vice versa. In this case, a racing game to an RPG. Yeah. Like nobody expected Playground to get into this one, dude. I think that's the biggest thing, right? So you put it all together, and admittedly,
I'm expecting a beautiful sun ray as the game begins.
Yeah, that's right. It's in Mexico. Perfect, right? I think the team would share that during some of the first reviews, I shared a little skepticism. He conceded. That look, I think we're going out on a limb here to do this, but they've since put that to rest, and I'm excited for everybody to see it when they are ready to show us stuff. And he's been told not to show a thing. He's not allowed to say anything, but it's not all fair for everybody. Scott, the faith seemingly wasn't shared by a former Playground Games developer, Juan Fernandez. In March of this year, he accused that his former employer lacked people with the knowledge to design gameplay for an open world outside of racing titles. Open world action RPGs are incredibly difficult to make, require a lot of time, a lot of people, and Playground they have to do more with less mentality is kind of their motto. Sucks. Yeah. So
well, that's why it's been a slow, steady march towards seeing something. That does make sense, because this isn't it's not necessarily, Rockstar with 1,000 employees doing it.
No, for sure. Playground, I'm not sure how big the team is over there at Playground, but I don't
think they're small, but
no,
they're not Ubisoft either. Then again, nobody is. Well, but Ubisoft is probably has a small nation between studios. Them and all the locations.
yeah, like 36 studios behind them. So yeah,
they've got more square footage than Prince Edward Island.
It's one of those things. But the Fable series is one that's beloved by fans, and you can't mess it up. So.
Not unless it's Fable 3 again. No, I'm kidding. That actually was a good game.
Scott,
there was an attempt to mess up Fable once, but it did not come to fruition.
Fable Legends, I think was that the game, right? Yeah,
I believe that's the one.
Yeah, but either way, we moved on now to Fable, basically a reboot from the ground up. But dude, if Obsidian would have had it, where would we be now, right? Like, that's Northern Nerdcast. Fable 3 was terrible. You're terrible. Get out of here, Brad.
I agreed with you. Or I would have agreed with you rather for a good 10 years, but I did play Fable 3 eventually, and it was great.
There you go. I'm gonna get into the anniversary edition. I think I'm gonna try.
Yes, that's the best one out so far.
Oh man, it's just one of those things. I'm so swamped right now with reviews. But yeah, Fable is definitely one of those things that a lot of people are skeptical of. They're looking to see what's going on here, and what the future holds with Playground taking the realm on this one and taking charge to see if they can pull what is essentially no longer a racing game from their well-known franchises of Forza Horizon and moving into the RPG world. They brought a bit of a touch of an RPG light element into Forza. Like, you can do certain things and upgrade this and upgrade that. So I don't know. I'm curious to see how it plays out. We all are huge fans of Fable, and just it's
RPGs for car nerds. You able to look under the hood and tweak all that. That's an interesting way of explaining that, actually. But that's 100% what Forza Motorsport is.
It's an opportunity, right? Dude, we reviewed PGA 2K23 this year, and they brought an RPG element to it. Like, it was just like, I never expected this coming over there. So at this point, you can RPG anything, I think.
That just made me think of The Witcher. Hey, you drink a potion for...
Oh, yeah, that's a whole other golf game. Scott, Remedy confirms Control 2 is in development for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, I would assume, and PC. The sequel will be co-developed with 505 Games. Andy Robinson over at VGC has this to say: Remedy has announced it's co-developing and co-publishing a sequel to Control with 505 Games. Control 2, formerly known as codenamed Huron, will release for PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S, and be built with Remedy's Northlight engine. The pair announced on Friday. Dude, this is big. The biggest thing that came out of this is that this is their biggest title yet to date as far as ambition, and 505 Games announced this is their biggest investment ever made. So that's high hopes. Like, are you excited to see what's going to come out of Control 2 and how much further? Because I didn't play Control 1 at all, so you got to fill me in here, Scott. Is it something you think I should play, first of all? And
I think you would enjoy it.
Yeah, right.
Now the lights go out several times throughout the game, but if you stay with it, there's no real fear factor. They have a lot of really creepy, otherworldly kind of stuff happening, but
Right.
it would never. I would never describe it as horror inspired. But
Yeah.
this, what they laid down in Control 1 is a foundation really for anything. They have a great plot device, which is just otherworldly supernatural devices that come through. They are the control board to save the planet from those. It means you can endlessly make these games. And if number 2 is even 10% of what number 1 was, we're looking at potential game of the year.
Wow, that's a big statement. Northern says Finney McGee just posted Kevin Conroy Batman has passed away. Our hearts go out to the family. That is sad news, Brad. I just saw that before going live on the show. He was 66 years old. It's very unfortunate. He will definitely be missed and a legend within the Batman universe. It's getting back to Control though, Scott. It is one of those things that's been in one of those pockets of gaming that I kind of missed, right? Working on other stuff. You were able to cover it for us, which is great. And then I went on some other project we had at the time. And
actually, I think it was Steve that covered it for us. I
really?
watched Steve's video and I went, okay, it's about time I played
Steve
this.
covered it? Huh.
I think that's correct.
Man,
or maybe it was just a conversation I had with him about the
game. Yeah, it's hard to tell. Yeah,
water cooler event.
We have a lot of those. Yeah, it's man, oh man, one of those games. Remedy has such a talent behind them that I'm excited to see how Control 2 plays out. And it is big, and obviously it's in early development right now, so it's nowhere near being released anytime soon, Scott. But you know what is releasing sometime soon? Very soon, as of like next week, it's Call of Duty Warzone 2's massive file size will dominate your hard drive. This
you start picking games you don't need on the hard drive right now because it's going to be big.
Yeah, let's get into this. One's Kate over comicbook.com. Call of Duty Warzone 2 will take up a healthy chunk of your hard drive at launch, much to the dismay of gamers everywhere. For whatever reason, Call of Duty has become notorious for eating up hard drive space for the last number of years. Although these large games filled with content from a big campaign, a meaty multiplayer, and co-op modes, many have questioned why these shooters take up more space than huge games like Red Dead Redemption 2 or Grand Theft Auto 5, for instance. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 released just a few weeks ago and already takes up 123 gigs on your Xbox Series X. And the big Season 1 update hasn't even released yet. It's pretty wild, but it doesn't look like it's going to chop off. What? It's not going to. It doesn't look like the chaos will stop. Next week, Call of Duty Warzone 2 will release, and according to a user on Twitter, it looks like it will take up an extra 115 gigs on my Xbox, Scott. This puts us at a total of 238.5 gigabytes of just Call of Duty. And an 800 man, that'd be awesome. An 800 gig hard drive space, 235 of it is dedicated to Call of Duty. Something's got to give here, man. I was just
thinking that. Is that how big our hard drives are? I have the Series X, and I really just...
Yep.
I not quite thought about it. I downloaded 2 or 3 titles. It was filled, and that was the most I thought about it. But it makes me think, you remember the original Xbox? The blocks that they had?
Yeah.
I never learned what those blocks translate into, if they're megabytes or whatever, but it seemed to have an endless supply of memory. You could never fill up an original Xbox, and long are the days gone. I have an external hard drive plugged into my Xbox. It doesn't even work properly.
No, yeah, it works on the old Xbox. That's the problem.
It runs all my old games, yeah.
Which is great to carry some of those old games over with you, but at the same time,
it frees up some of the main hard drive.
It does, right? Where I don't have that. I just have my Xbox. They classify it as a terabyte, but under the hood, it's only 800 gigs. And 800 gigs does not go a long way, especially when you have Call of Duty taking 235 of it or 238. Like, it's just, that's a huge file size, and it keeps coming. Something's got to give, Scott. So I'm going to have to delete something here to get Warzone on, because we're playing that.
I think Elden Ring is something like 80 or 90 gigabytes too, which, again, you put that next to Warzone, and I'm not certain I understand why Warzone is so big.
So I think... I'm going to look it up. I thought Red Dead 2 was just, isn't it 115 gig?
I think it is over 100.
Right?
But that's including the online.
Yeah, that includes both. It's 150 gigs.
Oh.
So it's not small either. But so here's the other problem then. The more games we get, the bigger they become, right? And then the more hard drive space we lose out on. You can buy for Xbox an external memory card, which blows my mind. We're heading back to like PS2 days where I plug in a memory card and then I gotta exchange my memory card because I got a different game on a different memory card. Dude, that's the last thing I want to do.
Do you remember the Dreamcast setup?
No, I borrowed a Dreamcast from a buddy of mine, but I never had
to say,
yeah.
Did you even glance upon it with your own eyes? The Dreamcast was here and then gone.
Yeah, don't blink. It didn't last very long. It was a cool system, man. Like everybody was like, "Oh, it looks so realistic." Back in the day when it was 2K's football, man, everybody was all.
I was playing 4-Wheel Thunder with the racing wheel. That was a lot of fun.
That would be a ton of fun. But yeah, so when you get into some of these games, they just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and they just keep eating your hard drive space. We need that external. At this point, dude, I need an external for my PS5, and I need an external for my Xbox Series X that isn't going to cost me $300.
Yeah, that's...
But that's
the point of monetization. It does make sense, but...
Sure. I don't know, man. It's kind of disappointing, but let's get into... I'm not even going to lead into that one. Battlefield 2042 is coming to Xbox Game Pass. Woo! Ultimate and EA Play. So there's that as well. So there's a couple of things coming now. This is Tom Ivan. We caught this yesterday. DICE has confirmed that Battlefield 2042 will join the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate and EA Play libraries in the near future. Battlefield 2042 will be available for Game Pass Ultimate and EA Play subscribers with the launch of Season 3. The studio said in development update just yesterday. Now, no details as to when Season 3 is coming, Scott. However, looks like Season 2 is wrapping up, so it might be sooner than later.
Yeah, I've seen people think that it's likely going to be the end of November. I think that's a little too early.
I think so?
I would say probably about halfway through December, but then again, they made you an update with a lot of Christmas focus. So
I think you want to get out there for December, right? I think that is the timeline they're probably shooting for, just because it is the holiday season. People are going to be taking time off, sitting on their consoles. I know I will be. So that the game plan is to sit there and play a lot of games and chill out, right? And have a good time.
I was going to say, take time off and sit with the console. Well, I don't know if I'm on the clock or off the clock nowadays.
Dude, everything
it's always been that way, though.
I played Siege last night with my wife, and I was like, I could be working on actual games right now for review, but I'm going to take an hour and go play this instead. Yeah.
You have to, really.
Yeah, sometimes we do. Yeah, absolutely.
Can't forget what they do this all for, and that's really just the love of games.
Yep.
Speaking for myself here, but I think that's a safe bet.
No, that is a very safe bet. Well put, Scott. Dude, I want to get into Crafton profits, up $171.5 million, despite the lowest quarter since 2020. James Batchelor over at GamesIndustry.biz. Crafton, the Korean-based publisher behind Players Unknown Battlegrounds, releases Q3 financial results alongside news on how it's expanding its collection of studios. That's the other highlight here. The company reported it saw revenues of $328.5 million and a net profit of $171.5 million, the latter marking a year-over-year improvement of 27%. Nice little bonus there. The other thing I want to touch on, Scott, is they're up but down, which is just business. Honestly, at the end of the day, everybody's like, what's the numbers? What the numbers? I'm like, man, oh man, if they're doing well, then let them do well. And I don't know why we can't be just okay with that. The bonus side of it, and what's coming next, is that Crafton also plans to launch a major studio in Canada, which will lead development on The Bird That Drinks Tears, a game based on the series of fantasy novels inspired by Korean mythology that were penned by Korean author Lee Yingodo. That's what I'm going with, Scott. So we'll see how that goes.
I like the title of that, The Bird That Drinks Tears.
So we saw...
That sounds like a song I would have listened to 20 years ago.
We saw a brief little teaser on that, and I didn't grab it for today's show, unfortunately. But it's one of those, dude, it looks cool. It has my interest. I'm like, I want to check this out. The Crafton's really expanding past PUBG. And PUBG today is still my my battle royale go too. We'll see when Warzone comes out next week. But it's one of those things like, man, oh man, it's nice to see them expand. And now they're coming to Canada and working on a cool game. I'm excited.
That's cool. Well, we almost have like a Hollywood of video gaming happening over in Montreal.
Yes, we do. Montreal is a hotspot here in Canada, without a doubt.
I think it's large over the whole world. It must be quite a large center.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them over there, with obviously Ubisoft being one of the biggest, but Behavior Interactive is over there, and there's a bunch of other studios as well. Like, man, there's all kinds happening over in Montreal. Scott, what else is happening though, my friend? We do have a couple updates of games today. We have a couple releases of games today. Why don't we get to those?
We have Atari 50, the anniversary celebration, and that's on PlayStation 4 or 5, Xbox One, XS, and Switch, and PC. Mm-hmm. I'm actually very curious. I will be getting to that very shortly.
Are you?
We have Resident Evil 2 on Switch. We have Tactics Ogre Reborn on PlayStation 4, 5, Switch, and PC. And Valkyrie Elysium is on PC.
And just like that, Scott, Valkyrie Elysium, shout out to that one. That's a cool game. I enjoyed that one. Steve and I played that one, reviewed it on the show. Something I think everybody should check out. It's their Odin isn't exactly the Odin I know and love. I'll say that. It was a different experience over there. Scott, it is the weekend. What are you playing this weekend?
I haven't decided yet if I want to just stick to the review games or if I want to veer off and play one of my old horror, one of my beautiful memories in my head. I'm thinking Condemned Criminal Origins. I think I will start that.
You will start there, will you?
I think it's been like 15 years since I played that game first, so
fair enough.
Can't wait. See how much it scares me still. Probably not at all.
I will be working on the God of War Platinum. That's my weekend. That's that in review games. So, but Scott, just like that, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us. This has been ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. You can always join us live at 11 a.m. Eastern over on twitch.tv/theofficialITG, as well as YouTube. But if you can't join us live, hit us up later. InsideTheGame.ca, podcast services, and TV streaming networks around the globe. Until next week, everybody, I'm Drew, that's Scott, and we'll see you inside the game.